Hello everyone, welcome to Pragyan IAS. Today we'll be talking about budget 2024. So this year's budget, the one which has been launched on 1st of Feb, is not the actual budget, or we can say it is called interim budget. Uh, 2024. Okay. Why interim budget? Because why not a general budget? So there are two types of budget: general and interim. General, which we usually get every year. Last year we got a general budget, and what is the time when we get an interim budget? Interim budget is launched or given when there is election. Only when there is an election year, the government gives interim budget. Why interim budget? Because the government is not formed yet, and it would be formed. matlab The elections are supposed to happen. So once the election happens, and then approximately in June, July, we'll get a general budget, but till that time, so the last year's budget is going to end by 1st of March, right? So after that, from 31st of March, so for the month of April, May, or till the time the final results and we form a government, in that time, in between time, the country needs a budget to function, right? So it needs a particular allocation or the way it is going to function. So for that purpose, interim budget is launched. So there is a difference between general budget and interim budget. So once a government is formed, there is going to be a budget which would be launched, and it would be general budget. So moving forward, what is there in the interim budget? So to keep it neutral, or it is not nowhere mentioned in the constitution or anything, but to keep things favorable for everyone, even the opposition. So government do not make a lot of changes in the interim budget. It mostly carry forwards the budget which was launched last year. Okay, so the 2023 budgets programs are mostly followed in this interim budget, and few small little changes are made. And if the same government comes, then it is going to move forward with its actual budget. And if some different government comes, then accordingly the changes would happen or whatever. Okay, so why interim budget is required, or why the government is not going ahead with the general budget? Because uh, to make the voting neutral for and favorable for both the parties. So if government comes up with some plans or some people friendly policies which would propagate people to vote in favor of the government, which is not fair. So keep things fair, this interim budget is launched. So, economics, to just get an overview or an understanding about it, about the budget, we know that there has been a transformation in past 10 years. Past 10 years, we know that BJP has been ruling. This budget shows or is telling or expressing that in past 10 years there has been an economic profound transformation. In what all sectors or what all changes have happened? That is firstly structural reform. Structural means in basic structuring of the economy, basic fundamentals, there has been changed, and it has been more organized and better. And pro people programs have been promoted. And developmental philosophy, what kind of philosophy the government has been propagating or following was social and geographical inclusivity. And we have moved towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant, a self-sufficient, a self-reliant India. Atmanirbhar. We are not really dependent on anyone. We are Make in India. All of these programs comes under Atmanirbhar Bharat. Then there are Panch Prans. As a citizen of the country, what are the there are five prans which were discussed in the last year budget. As a citizen, as a citizen, what are your duties, and how you can help India to move or achieve its goal in its 100 years. So India would be achieving its 100 years by 2047. So how its citizens, country citizens can help India achieve the bigger goal of a bigger economy and a developed nation. And Amrit Kal, this is the only Amrit Kal. And we are moving towards on a Kartavya path. So that is told in this budget, 2024 budget. In the global context, global scenarios are also redefining. So we have redefined by offshoring, friendshoring. Offshoring is you're giving jobs, or you're collaborating basically with other countries when it comes to manufacturing or any other thing, right? So you are giving or providing jobs, or manufacturing or any other thing to another country, that is offshoring. And what is friendshoring, how it is different from offshoring? Friendshoring is that you are giving those things to a friendly nation, so you are collaborating with a friendly nation, the nations which are friendly towards you. Okay, there has been a lot of disruption in the years, in the past 2 years, and there has been a lot of fragmentation of supply chains. Supply chains fragmentation means a distribution of chains, supply chains, because of Ukraine war and COVID and a lot of so there has been a very uh, drastic changes which have been happening in the global dynamics from past years after COVID, due to COVID and afterwards whatever followed COVID, that is in high inflation and everything. So what were the bigger challenges that the world was facing at the global level? There has been a high inflation. The inflation was above the basic target for India, that the target of inflation is plus minus 4%. 4 plus minus 2, sorry. So overall 6%. So India is supposed to have its inflation uh, below 6%. Okay, and low global rate. Overall, the world is the world has reported a very low global growth. Okay, the world growth rate has been very low, but India has been a stable. But again, there has been a dip in the growth rate, and due to low growth and high inflation, a lot of countries had to borrow. So overall, at a global level, there has been high public debt. Public debt means that karza, you can see that has been a lot higher, and a lot of non-environmental friendly activities or whatever from past, we have not taken care of the environment. So there has been a lot of climatic challenges that the whole world is facing right now today. So a lot of programs and schemes are being promoted towards that direction, because of which we are moving towards green hydrogen, and a lot of policies are promoted in this direction, so that we can have a climate friendly programs or development. So there has been four crises, which were food, fertilizer, fuel, and finances. Due to disruption of and wars and other things, there has been a problem with fuel and fertilizer. Ukraine war and everything led to a lot of problem for India in particular when it came to fertilizer and fuel. And India realized this need, that it need to be self-reliant in these areas or sectors. And due to climatic changes, there has been shortages of food also, and finances. The world is an integrated system, so if anything is happening in a country, it is going to affect. So you have been aware that there has been fluctuations in us and Britain, inflation wise, and so they were handling at that level. But whatever changes they were having, that those changes affected India as well, because of which India had to lose a few of its FDI also to maintain its rupee stability. Okay, so what is economic management strategy? So, what are the strategies which are followed in our country? The strategy infrastructure, we have helped in infrastructure wise, like physical infrastructure, digital and social infrastructure. We have been promoting or adopting these infrastructure friendly activities. We have digital public infrastructure. We have emphasis on. We have been promoting this via Jandhan and the other UPI promotion and other online payment, digital transaction, digital economy has been promoted a lot in past few years. And capex is, I have explained it in the past video, that capex is capital expenditure. So capital expenditure which enhances the asset of the country has been doubled or tripled in last 4 years. It has been tripled in last 4 years. So there has been a lot of capital expenditure in last 4 years, and in this year also the budgeted amount is quite wholesome. And GST, because of the launch of the GST, there has been a deepening and widening tax base. Tax base is what, the number of people you are putting tax on. So if earlier there were three people, just taking a small example, like three people who were taxed, so now the tax base has increased. So now you can, the people who comes under the tax bracket, or the people who are paying taxes, have increased from three to whatever, like suppose five. So if earlier three people were paying 10 rupees, now if there are five people, so even if the other three are paying 8 rupees, then also the overall amount increases to 40 rupees. And earlier it was approximately 30 rupees. So there has been an increase in tax amount. Why? Because the tax base has increased, because the number of people who are paying tax has increased. So there has been deepening and widening. Widening the tax base and deepening means that the people who were paying 10 rupees, they have increased from 10 to 11 or whatever number. So there has been an increase in the tax money which is the government is having. Strengthening the financial sector has been strengthened again via Jandan and following the financial inclusive policies by the government. We have strengthened the financial sector and inflation management. We have tried to manage inflation. That is what I already explained. 4 plus 2 plus minus 2% wala strategy. Now the gift city, the city which we are developing and we are trying, and if it is positive, we might be able to substitute our country as a very big financial sector, like for international finance investment. So this gift city has been developed and we are focusing upon it, and there has been a policy which we are going to discuss in this video only, how it is going to happen in everything. So unified IFCA creating robust gateway for global capital, so that we attract more global capital from all over the world. So Gift City is international. Just Gift City is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and it is we are aiming to replace the international. Sorry, it is International Financial Service Centers Authority. Authority. Unified under this, and it is going to be a global gateway for a global investment. We are trying to make the city as a tech city for global investment. So understanding the trends at a macro level. So you know the basic difference between micro and macro. Micro is basically when we are trying to understand at an individual or a smaller level when the sample size is small, and macro is when you're taking the whole country as our sample size or survey size. So when we are talking about the whole economy or the country's economy, we are talking about macro. So when macro level, the GDP of a country from past few years, we can see the trend of GDP. So how it has been in lakh crores. So earlier it was this much, and now it has been 327 lakh crores. The budgeted estimate is this, and last year the budgeted revised estimate. So budgeted was something else, and the revised estimate was approximately 300 crores, and this time we are aiming for 30 more lakh crores. And fiscal deficit has been increasing. So we'll just try to understand the trends. So the fiscal deficit trend has been decreasing, the GDP has been increasing. So revised estimate, the fiscal deficit was 5.8% of GDP, and this year we are expecting it to be lower than that. That is 5.1% of GDP. GDP growth rate. So growth rate in 2021 it was highest due to, you are already aware, due to the base year effect of base year effect. What is base year effect? It is basically when your last year's GDP has been lower. So suppose you have earned every time you have been earning or your GDP has been 100 lakh crores or something, and in due to COVID. So why this effect was there? Due to COVID. It is not really relevant in this budget, but I'm just trying to explain it so that you have a wider perspective or understanding of what is the trends. So due to COVID, there has been a base effect because last in COVID 2020 the COVID came, right. So 2020 to 19, sorry 2021, there has been very low growth rate due to COVID, right. So due to COVID, so approximately or on average, if your growth rate was 7 to 8%, or you were earning 100 lakh crores, and due to COVID you just earned what, 80 or let's say 70 lakh crores. Okay, so 70, so there has been a dip of 30 lakh crores. So why dip? Or you just earned 70 lakh, and next year, because your average was 100, so next year you earned 110, so there has been an increase of 40. So this 40 is increase. So ये ज्यादा है मतलब अगर एक्चुअल में देखें, अगर अपन कोविड नहीं आता तो इधर भी 110 105 या मतलब ऐसा कुछ होता, राइट. तो इधर ज्यादा क्यों है? क्योंकि इधर कम था तो इधर ज्यादा इफेक्ट दिख रहा है उसका. वैसे इन रियल देखे तो 100 से 110 ही होता है. इट इज बेसिकली 10% इंक्रीज, पर ऐसे ओवरऑल देखे तो ज्यादा इंक्रीज दिखेगा क्योंकि अपन लास्ट ईयर से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं. तो दैट जस्ट लाइक अ डेटा इफ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड. इफ यू couldn't understand, it's okay, we'll move forward. So there has been a GDP growth rate. So in 2021 there has been 9.1. Then it has been stable or it has been increasing, and we are expecting a bit dip in this. Like not that much of you can say it's like almost stable. So 7.2% in 2022, 2023, 7.3, that is revised estimate of the actual growth which happened, and we are expecting a 7% budgeted estimate of this year. Inflation has been high. So in that year, like after COVID year, it was this much, and then it has increased a lot in 22, 23, and then we had tried to control it, and we are still controlling, and it is expected that it might increase by 0.1% in this year. Okay. Agriculture growth rate. Agriculture growth. So agriculture growth has been lower compared to last few years. So it has increased by 0.1%, and it is low in 20 in la like this year it has been lower, and industrial growth rate has been higher, then it dipped, and then it has increased. So we're just understanding the trend, we're not going to go by the numbers. If you can remember the percentage, that is well and good. Service sector, it has decreased then increased again, and unemployment rate, it is said that unemployment rate has decreased a lot, like from 4.8% to 3.2%. It has decreased a lot. So this is 20 last to last year's estimate, 3.2%. So what is this Amrit Kal? Amrit Kal on in budget of 2023 and 2024. In 2023 budget, we talked about Amrit Kal reaching the last mile, which you have focusing upon the youth, focusing upon the financial sector, green growth or sustainable growth, unleashing the potential. The like India holds a lot of potential, so if we try, we can unleash and utilize its potential in the fullest manner. Then infrastructure, focusing upon the infrastructure investment and inclusive growth, including all the sectors of the economy. So we are moving from Amrit Kal towards Gyan. What is Gyan? So G stands for Garib or poor, Y stands for youth or Yuva, Annadata, that is for A, farmers, that means, and N for Nari, that is women. So we are focusing on these four sections or castes. So these four sections has been called four castes in this budget. So the forecast of the budget are these forecasts on which the budget would be focusing upon. So first pillar we talked about. In first pillar we talked about andatas. Andatas. Andatas is our farmers. So we focus upon agriculture sector, or you can say food processing, welfare, or mostly upon farmer related things. So the schemes or initiative in this budget we talked about PM Kisan, DBT, direct benefit transfer. We focused upon a lot upon this direct benefit transfer for PM Kisan scheme, which we provided to 1.8 lakh crore, 1.8 crore farmers, and then crop insurance to 4 crore farmers under PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Then ENAM is an like online portal where there is a integrated mandis have been completed. So we have integrated 1361 mandis and serving around 1.8 crore farmers. Then it is an e-market, you can say. So where there is an integrated mandi system where farmers can sell their produce. Then PM Kisan Sampradaya Yojana, which has benefited around 38 lakh farmers. So Sampradaya is you are providing farmers at a subsidized rate. Those seeds and fertilizers and everything are providing them at a subsidized rate. PM Kisan is that you are providing farmers with 6k rupees on yearly basis per annum basis. So via DBT we are decreasing the leakages that is in the economy. So like suppose एक सोर्स से दूसरे सोर्स में पैसा जाना, अगर आप डायरेक्टली भेज दोगे पैसा तो बीच में करप्शन के चांसेस कम होंगे, so that would decrease the leakages. Okay, so we'll talk more about it, that how much it has decreased the leakages and everything. Formalization of micro food processing enterprises, micro food processing enterprises जो छोटे लेवल की थी उसको और थोड़ा formalize किया, we have formalized or organized them in a particular sector and assisted over 2.4 lakh self-help groups. Then Matsya Samprada Yojana, that is related to fishery or marine sector, right? So usme we are trying to double its production and export the marine produce since financial year 14. The new initiatives kya rahe? These were the old initiatives. Here we talked about all of these are old initiatives, or we are just moving forward with what was there last year, and we are continuing those initiatives. And what is the new things which has been introduced? Firstly, it is public private investments, PPP, public private partnerships or investments in post harvest facilities is promoted. Post harvest, after the harvest is done, so the transportation or the packaging, storaging, and everything. So in this, the PPP, public private partnership, has been promoted. Nano DAP. So it is used, its uses has been expanded. So we have talked about. Okay. So nano dam is, last year we talked about nano urea is the most used fertilizer in India. So why nano urea? So the particle size, if the particle size would decrease, then it is assumed that it would be less used and more environmental friendly, or you can say if the usage decreases, then less money would be spent on it and everything. So the particle size, why nano? Because the particle size has been decreased. So after urea, we are focusing on diammonium phosphate. So nano DAP has been uses has been expanded, and then Atmanirbhar Oilseeds Abhiyan. So we are trying to be Atmanirbhar or self-reliant when it comes to oil seeds production, so that we are not really supposed to be dependent upon its import. Okay, so there has been programs for this, and then dairy development. So we are focusing on to increase the productivity of milk animals, like milk giving or dairy products. So dairy development has also been focused. Then Matsya Samprada Yojana, we talk about enhanced in aquaculture productivity. Like suppose प्रोडक्टिविटी जैसे एक एरिया में अगर पहले कितनी एक्वा फिशेस हो पा रही थी उसको इंक्रीज करने का वी आर ट्राइंग वाया टेक्नोलॉजिकल एनहांसमेंट एंड अदर वेज वी आर ट्राइंग टू एनहांस द एक्सपोर्ट टू 1 लाख करोड़ रुपीस सो वी आर ट्राइंग टू रेज इट्स fisheries or marine exports from to 1 lakh crore rupees, and we are trying to generate 55 lakh employment opportunities via this, and 5 integrated aqua parks has been set up, and blue revolution has say we have allocated its allocation has been increased to 2352 crores rupees. Now moving forward, review of the budget. What has been announced or initiatives which were announced in 2023 budget, and so we'll just review them. So the digital public infrastructure was announced for agriculture and open source, where open standard and interpolated public goods would be. So we'll try to integrate digital infrastructure in agriculture as well. So these are the points we're just reviewing the budget about last year. Public agriculture accelerator funds to for the startups, so that the startups start coming into the agriculture sector as well. Then Atmanirbhar horticulture plant clean plant program, so that we can boost the plant free quality planting material for high value crops. So horticulture wise, we are trying to increase the production of horticulture, so that there is more profit in these high value crops, so the farmer earns more via these. And we're trying to have the 2023 was a millet year, so global hub for millets, and agriculture credit target of 20 lakh crore was set, and new sub scheme like Matsya Samprada Yojana to add to improve the value chain and everything, and then mapping and computerization of 63,000 packs. Uh, and decentralization of storage units. So storage units we have tried to see decentralized, and also in fishery and dairy sector. So storage has been focused upon, and cooperative societies has been set up for the same. Okay, so we are just reviewing the budget, so you can just go through the points or take the screenshot. So the pillar number two, pillar number one, we talked about Andata or agriculture sector basically, because Andata is farmer and farmer comes from the agriculture sector. So the focus area was this. The second pillar is focusing on the inclusive growth and social justice. Inclusive development is development of all the sectors of the economy, and we are focusing on the social justice to those sectors as well. So in second pillar, we'll be talking about inclusive growth. So inclusive growth, we'll talk about. Okay. So we'll talk about women, youth, and poor, all of all of them, all the weaker sections of the society, or the social justice to this, or we are including all the sectors or the forecasters of the society, which are discussed in this budget. From provisioning, like village level, we will try to focus. Inclusive means all the levels of the economy, like city, village. So to the lowest of the grassroots level, we will try to focus upon this, and target the households and individual in a human approach. And food security for all, free ration to 80 crore people under PM Garib Kalyan Yojana, 2.05 lakh crore has been allotted this year, and MSP has been increased periodically. Recently, there has been an increase in MSP of sugarcane. Just to keep you updated, so otherwise MSP has been increased. So when it comes to social justice, there has been saturation of schemes. A lot of schemes are allotted in this their direction or this sector or this area. Transparency by government is the major thing which can be provided, which can provide assurance to all the people. We are focusing on the four major castes, that is poor, women, youth, and farmer, that is garib, mahila, yuva, and andata, addressing the systematic inequalities which is existing in the economy. Then Garib Kalyan, Desh Ka Kalyan, welfare of the poor. So we to how we are approaching or to going towards this, the welfare of the poor is by new approaches in empowering the entitled, and notable achievements or schemes in this budget are being highlighted. Firstly is poverty elevation. So it has been said that in this budget it has been said that there has been an elevation of multidimensional poverty. We are just not talking about the poverty of the people in terms of money. We are also talking about poverty which is faced by people when it comes to healthcare, education, or everything. A person might not be poor, but due to a major disease or major problem which he or she might face, the person can become poor because he might not be able to get the best healthcare or education and everything. So when we are talking all or taking all the indicators into consideration, we are talking about multidimensional poverty, and there has been an upliftment of 25 crore people in this area. Direct benefit transfer, what I have told earlier also, of 34 lakh crore people has been done under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, saving around 2.7 lakh crore rupees. So this much leakage might or would have happened if we didn't had this DBT scheme. So since we had this, so this leakage, this has been our saving, the government saving. Then there is scheme called PM Swanidhi schemes. Under this, the credit assistance assistant to 78 lakh crores, 78 lakh street vendors had been provided. So that they can start their own ventures, or like small units. The street people can start their livelihood via earn their livelihood via these. Then there is PM Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan, PM Janman, announced in 23 budget. It was announced, and it was for the PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, families, and under which around 15,000 crore was given for 3 years. And Vishwakarma scheme, again under the, which was announced in 23 budget, it was for the upskillment or for the craftsmen. So it was to assist the handicraft person or the artisans. So they were supported via this, via financial or skill or technical assistance was provided to these people. Then in allocation of 4,824 crore under interim budget, which is 5 times the revised estimate, which was earlier 990 crore. Under this PM Vishwakarma, this much amount has been allocated. So it is like 5 times which was allocated earlier. And then Narega also allocation has increased to 86,000 crore. Then highlights, when it comes to women or Nari Shakti, there are highlights. So 30 crore Mudra Yojana loans has been dispersed to women entrepreneurs. Then women enrollment has increased in education, higher education in schools, to 43 share, percent, and especially it has increased in higher education, and 43% share has been increased is in STM courses. STM is science, technical, engineering, and medical courses. The technical courses it has increased, which was earlier less, and which was an area of concern. There has been a rise in Lakpati, and there is a scheme under which these comes Lakpati Didis. Lakpati Didis are, so there has been a rise in female. Okay. There has been a rise in female labor force for participation rate as well, which was earlier 23.3% in financial year 18, and it has increased to 37% in 2023. So there has been a huge increase in the female participation rate or labor force participation rate. So what is Lakpati Didi and what is this is Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, under which National Rural Livelihood Mission, under which Lakpati Didis are there. Lakpati Didis are those who are earning 1 lakh per annum via self-help groups. And right now 83 lakh self-help groups are there with 9 crore women under National Rural Livelihood Mission, and Lakpati Didis are part of this scheme only to promote the micro enterprise by women. Under interim budget, we are targeting this Lakpati Didis to 3 crore from 2 crore. Right now, there are 2 crore women who are earning 2 lakh 1 lakh per annum, and we are trying to increase it to 3 lakh. So that is our target. And again, when we focus upon women, so the under PM Awas Yojana, so 70% houses are either owned by women or they are under the joint ownership of husband and wife. Moving forward, empowering youth or Amrit PD, how we are empowering them or focusing upon them. Firstly, there has been a new policy which was launched in 2022, that was National Education Policy (NEP), and then unemployment rate has also been declined, that has been to 3.2%, and PM Shri or new model schools are developed where there would be all the new technology would be used, that is smart board set and everything would be used, and budget allocation for the same has increased from 4,000 crore in financial year 24 to 6,050 crore in financial budgeted estimate of financial year 25. When we are talking about financial year 25, that means 2024 to 25. Okay. Skill India Mission, we are focusing on training the youth, 1.4 crore youth, and skilling 54 lakh youth, and establishing 3,000 new IITs. And Mudra scheme, we are giving 43 lakh crore loan to approximately rupees itna to youth. So these many people are, these many loans are given to 22 lakh crore to youth. So under Mudra scheme, and schemes which were there already present in 2023 budget were PMKVY, to equip youth, to train youth in or equip or upskill them for the industrial for the fourth industrial revolution, and establishing a Skill India or digital platform and national apprenticeship promotion scheme to promote 47 lakh youth in 3 years. Support 47 lakh youth in 3 years. Then we are focusing upon aspirational district program or district block. And this we are assisting district. We are focusing upon these. We are choosing few districts and we are focusing upon the few areas in these districts, that is health and nutrition, education, agriculture, water resources, financial inclusion, and skill development and infrastructure. So one, two, three. So we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 areas of concerns we are focusing upon in these aspirational districts so that their faster development could happen. And inclusive, the regions which are lagging behind, we are focusing upon those regions and we are focusing upon their particular development. And eastern regions are powerful driver of India growth, so we are focused upon the eastern region. And northeastern region to grow at the same time. In housing sectors are also new schemes are launched to buy or build house in the urban areas. So new schemes has been targeting the middle class. So there has been no particular scheme or particular thing which has been clearly said, but it has been said that how under other schemes rural households has been, or Awas Yojana is there in the rural area. So similar, maybe there would be loan which would be given to the people in urban areas, from which, with the help of which they can buy their own house or build their own house. So that has been focused in this budget, and Awas Yojana is already there. An outlay of 80,000 crore this year has been devoted to the Awas Yojana, and then PMAY to achieve a target of 3 crore houses and has been enhanced to 5 crore houses. So the target has been enhanced for this particular scheme as well. Then tourism. So, in past few years, so tourism sector has been very much promoted or enhanced, right? So, if the tourism, why we are focusing upon tourism? Because if tourism increases, then it would lead to increase in employment as well. बिकॉज टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा तो ऑब्वियसली ट्रांसपोर्टेशन भी बढ़ रहा है उस जगह में द होटल्स आर इंक्रीजिंग द टूरिस्ट spots are increasing, so the restaurants are more restaurants are opening up, so overall the country is earning money via tourism. So tourism area is focused because India is growing as a tourist hub. for the at a global level. So it has a high potential for India because a lot of business and conference tourism happens, and middle class tourism has been rising, and spiritual and medical tourism has been rising. Spiritual tourism because like recently Ram Mandir has opened, so a lot of people from all over India and also from outside India are going to visit Ayodhya, right? So to see the temple. So that is somewhat which comes under spiritual tourism. And when it comes to medical tourism, we know that a lot of people from Iran, African countries, from these nations, the people come to India for medical purposes. So they are also traveling for medical purposes. So that also comes under tourism, under medical tourism bracket. So the tourism is a very huge potential area for India, and India should be focusing upon it. So in 2023 budget, what all happened? So to promote tourism, the active participation of state was there and convergence. So firstly, active participation of states was there, and then secondly, convergence of government programs and PPP model. Thirdly, PPP, private public partnership. So state actively participate. State are doing its state oriented program so that it can enhance the tourism of that particular state. Then convergence, all the government schemes which are there. So there isn't compilation, or we're gathering or making all the scheme come under a particular bracket. And then there is a public private partnership model. So when the government and the public all comes together for the promotion of this particular sector, and they're partnering together for this tourism, which are the new initiative. These were the things which were already there. Okay, so what are the new things which are taken under this year's budget? So we are planning to develop an iconic tourist centers. Iconic tourist centers where the state is encouraging, and rating framework has been developed, and a long-term interest-free loans has been provided to the states via center, so that they can enhance these iconic tourist centers. Then port connectivity, tourism infrastructure and amenities, and has been taken up. Why port connectivity? So that islands can be connected, including Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep has been in like a lot in news, so you can expect a question from the same. The projects has been there for port connectivity. So if you connect the ports, so if there is more connectivity, the tourism would increase, right? So tourism infrastructure and other amenities are increased, then tourism which are to the areas which are very remote or far off, where there is less of transportation, it might be difficult. So increasing all of these connectivity, you're increasing the tourism, in particularly in the islands like Lakshadweep. Then another initiative is 50 tourist destination to high standards. We are trying to develop 50 tourist destination, and then we are trying to develop border villages, vibrant village program. Under the vibrant village program, under which Unity Mall is also the one district one product. So what is this Unity Mall or one district one product? It is a concept under which there would be a similar mall in every district. So there would be a place or a city which would be chosen for this. A state would choose that this is the area they're going to develop that mall, and that mall would consist of all the shops from every district, and there would be shops from other states as well. So like suppose there is a mall in Rajasthan, and it would be having the shops from every other district of Rajasthan, be it Jaipur, Jodhpur, Ajmer, Kota, and everything, all the other districts. And then it would be having shops from other states as well, like Jammu and Kashmir, Bihar, UP, MP, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and every other state. So it is kind of a way to promote unity. So that is the reason its name comes as Unity Mall, and the same model would be followed in all the other districts. Then coming under the bracket of health, the new initiatives which are promoted is medical colleges. We are trying to set up medical colleges and utilizing the existing hospital infrastructure. Then cervical, to encourage the cervical cancer vaccines, there has been vaccines has been encouraged between 9 to 14 years age. So after breast cancer, cervical cancer is the highest highest cancer which happens among ladies. So focusing upon their vaccine would be a very big step towards so if vaccines are provided at an early stage, so we can avoid the risk of cervical cancer at the later stage, which is right now very high. Moving forward, Ayushman Bharat scheme has been extended to ASHA or Anganwadi or healthcare workers as well. It is very obvious that if you are in the sector, you are also working, and why the scheme is not applicable to you, because earlier it was not applicable. Why? It must be why, because you are in government employee, so you might not come under the bracket of Ayushman Bharat. But right now, since their payment has not been increased, and there has been a lot of protest via these from the ASHA workers because of the same, so this scheme has been extended to all these workers as well, because their payment is around 10,000 per month or something. MSME. So the area of focus where, when it comes to MSMEs, the adequate finances has been provided, technology and training has been provided to MSMEs, and steps which were taken in 2023 budget were credit guarantee scheme, credit guarantee for MSMEs, so that that has been revamped or revised, and then Vivad se Vishwas relief, MSME for COVID-19 projects. Then pillar number three. So in pillar number three, we'll talk about infrastructure and everything. So to move forward with pillar number three, we'll try to firstly understand the trends in capital expenditure. So what are the trends in the capital expenditure? Right now, this is the capital. Okay, I'll have to change. Okay. So 11.11 crore is the capital expenditure, capex. Capex, which is the estimated amount which is right now estimated for the year 2024 under the interim budget. And this, I have already explained earlier, there are different types of brackets. What is the different types of deficits I have already explained, and what is capital expenditure, what is revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, revenue expenditure, capital receipts or revenue receipts. All of these things has been explained in my previous video, so you can go there and revise that if you are not really aware or if you haven't seen it, and then you can come and watch this video. So what we're talking, what is the trend in the capital expenditure? So capital expenditure, we have seen an increasing trend from past to right now. 2016 it was this much percentage of the GDP, and it has increased to 15% of the GDP. So how much we are giving? 11.11 crore for the capital expenditure, and grant for the creation. So grant in general, grant in aid comes under the revenue, capital receipts, revenue receipts, revenue receipts under the non-tax part, non-tax part. But we are including it into the capital expenditure. Why? Because we are giving this grant in aid for the creation of capital assets. That is the reason we are including it under this bracket of capital expenditure. I have already explained the same. So 3.9 crore has been allotted for this, and 11.11 crore has been allotted for the capital expenditure, and overall it counts or adds on to 15% of the GDP. So there has been an increasing trend in the expenditure, capital expenditure. Why it is highly needed to have an increasing trend or have more percentage in the capital expenditure? Because capital expenditure leads to an futuristic growth, or opens avenues for more growth options in future. Because if you are developing road, railway or infrastructure or any other thing, you are opening more employment opportunity or ground for other development of other sectors also. So that is the reason it is important. Infrastructure and investment. Infrastructure and investment capital outlay for like next year has been increased. We have already talked about it. Has we have increased the capital expenditure by 11.1 to 11.1%. Earlier it was 11.1% to 11 lakh 11,000 crore rupees, that is around 3.4% of GDP, for less than 2% of GDP. From earlier it was 2% of GDP in the financial year of 18, and it would lead to a multiplier effect in the economy. What is a multiplier effect? Suppose you are hmm, okay, and then there is second point, which is forward and backward linkages. So to understand this, well, suppose there is a road, so you're constructing road. So for road construction, you'll need cement and a lot of other equipments you'll need. You'll need a lot of machinery. You'll need raw materials and everything, right? So how you're doing this? So for just for the construction of road, you are promoting a cycle for the manufacturing, or you are increasing the manufacturing of the products which are going to be needed in this, right? So that is a multiplier effect. So you're doing one thing and the effect has been seen in other sectors also of the economy. What is forward and backward linkages? Forward linkages is like you are making a road, so obviously when you are for road you need raw material, so you're going to enhance the production of the cement factories, you're going to enhance the production of the machines which are going to be used in the road production, road making and everything. So that is backward linkages. And what is forward linkage? Forward linkage is going to be when via road, if there is a good road, then it would increase the tourism or transportation. It would help in the enhancement of logistic services and everything. So all of these would come under the bracket of forward linkages. So both the way you are promoting the economy via forward and the backward linkages. So you basically understood, right? Promotion of investment. So that was infrastructure wise how you're promoting. And now we'll understand promotion of investment. From 50 years interest rate loans to of sorry from me of for 50 years interest free loans are being provided to state with an outlay of 1.3 lakh crore rupees. FDI flow for the year from the year 2014 to 23 was 596 billion. It is twice the inflow between 2005 and 14. So the FDI flow has increased a lot from the past 25 2005 to 14 से लेके अभी का जो FDI का flow है, it has increased a lot. It has increased to 596 billion crore and FDI. So in general, what is FDI? FDI is foreign direct investment. Okay, I'll make a separate video to understand what is balance of payment, foreign direct investment, and everything. But right now, just try to understand for, how other countries, like foreign countries, when they come and invest in. Yeah, in our country, it is foreign direct investment. They're coming directly and investing in our country. So, in this budget, it has been said first develop India. So, foreign direct investment, the investment should be focused upon developing our country, and we'll accept that investment. And we're trying to promote the investment so that our country development can be enhanced or promoted. In the budget 2024, this interim budget, Infrastructure Finance Secretary set up an innovative mechanism for infrastructure, debt funds, investment ITs, and to promote investment. And master harmonized master list of infrastructure has been announced. So innovation has been our focus area here, and national infrastructure pipeline, national monetization pipeline, and national logistic policy has been promoted. So to understand the infrastructure, so we have increased from 20 financial year 2015, the this much was the road in kilometers. Just a sec. So it was uh, 97,901 kilometer long kilometer road, and it has increased to this figure, that is 634 kilometer roads. And then the cargo traffic at major ports has increased. Earlier it was 500 something million tons, and now it is 720 million tons. And electric rail route has increased in kilometers. It has like hugely increased. It has almost doubled, right? And aircraft movement million tons. So earlier it was 16 million tons, and now it has been 25 million tons. And number of airports has increased from 74 to like 149. So it's not like ki almost 70 plus new airports has been established, but we can say that the old airports or the which were not in use, they has been enhanced, or there has been reopened or something. So in total, there has been an enhancement in the number of airports which used to be there. When we talk about railways, railway. So, for major rail, economic rail corridor has been focused under PM Gati Shakti, where three rail routes has been focused. One is for energy, mineral, or cement corridor. Cement. So it is focused for transportation of these things: energy, mineral, and cement. Secondly, there is port connectivity to connect all the port cities. to of the country, so that there could be better transportation and trading and for all the other purposes, because from port other shipments happens, right? And then there is high traffic density corridor. Traffic density corridor, you can say that there is a lot of people who travel between Bihar and Delhi. So if you're focusing upon the corridors or the train network between these two states, then we can decrease the density of the traffic which is between this route. Okay, and 40,000 normal rail bogies are to be converted to Vande Bharat standard. Vande Bharat standard means this is newly. We are anyways focusing upon new Vande Bharat trains, but what we are trying to do is the old trains we are going to uh, give the technology of Vande Bharat train. That is, we are going to add that Vande Bharat has a feature that it goes very smooth. So there's not a lot of movement which happens inside the train. So we're trying to do that again in other trains which are there. So 40,000 trains are our focus area. Then capital outlay for the same has been increased for the railway has been increased to 2.5 lakh crore for the financial year 2025. Okay, and capital allocation for Ministry of Road Transport and Highway has been increased to 2.7 trillion from it was earlier to 2.58 trillion last year. So this has also increased roadways and civil aviation has number of airports has doubled to 149 we have already seen, and connectivity to tier 2 and tier 3 cities is our focus area under Udan phase 2 program, and 570 new routes for carrying 1.3 crore passengers are to be developed. Then urban infrastructure. Urban infrastructure, we are trying to expand the uh, middle class with a rapid pace of urbanization. Um, via which I have already told, via loan or any way we are trying to give them urbanization, rapid pace of urbanization, like housing and everything. And then there is metro rail or Namo Bharat. Namo Bharat is connecting, like there is metro in Delhi, right? So we are trying to develop similar metro or a train which goes at the speed of metro between intercity. So we're trying to right now we're developing we have developed till Ghaziabad, and the plan is to develop till Meerut and to nearby states, that is Haryana also, and then in the Rajasthan and other states which are nearby to Delhi. So that is coming under Namo Bharat, and we're trying to enhance the metro rails also. So it is going to be a catalyst. Catalyst is like development to Namo Bharat or train will help in developing the urban transformation, because the connectivity would increase and it would decrease the time of transportation and everything. So what are the new highlights of this particular year budget is sustainable cities for tomorrow. So we are encouraging cities to take up urban planning reforms so that the cities are focusing on sustainability more. We are making municipal cities ready for municipal bonds to have credit worthiness. So the municipalities are going to launch their own bonds, and we have union is going to incentivize to have them credit worthiness, matlab, so that their bond holds some worthiness and people can trust them. Infrastructure development, urban infrastructure development fund has been managed by National Housing Board and urban sanitation, manhole to machine hole. What is urban sanitation? A manhole to machine hole. So ma ma till date in India, humans are a man is supposed to go inside the that sewage and is supposed to clean it. And in this process, a lot of people lose their life because of the slippage or the noxious gas which are there in the sewage and everything. So we are switching 100% switching from manhole to machine hole is our plan. So that machine oriented cleaning would be there. Then there is pillar number 4. So pillar number 3 was focusing upon infrastructure and investments. Pillar number 2 was inclusive development, inclusive in growth of everything. So pillar 1 was farmer. Pillar 2 was inclusion or social justice, which was increasing women or garib and the women, garib and youth. And then there is third. Third, we focused upon infra and investment in all the different sectors, that is railways, roadways, aviation, and all the other areas, whatever areas were there. Okay. Then now we are focusing upon sustainable development or green growth, sustainable growth. So we are focusing upon sustainability. Okay. So Panchamrit goal, committed to Panchamrit goal, balancing energy security with energy transition is what has been highlighted in this budget is viability gap funding of wind energy, offshore wind energy. Okay, offshore wind energy means you are having wind energy, establishing windmills in a particular area and sourcing them to other places. So what is viability gap? Suppose Tata is investing around 100 crore rupees and is expecting a return of 150 crore. Okay. But due to whatever reasons it is able to earn only a return of 20 crore, है ना, मतलब इतना ही overall उसका earning उनका earning हुआ. So the gap which is of 30 crore rupees is going to be fulfilled by government. So government would fulfill that gap to Tata, because then Tata would be like, why should I invest in this particular area? Why should I invest in wind energy? I can invest in any other field where I'll get a guaranteed return. But government wants them to invest in a area where the country's infrastructure or sustainability will develop and it can switch to a renewable energy source and everything, right? So the government would to promote them to invest in these areas. So there is a viability gap funding is happening from government side. And rooftop solarization and muft bijli. Rooftop solarization is there's a plan to set up solar plants, solar panels in all the households, and they can have up to 300 units of free bijli or free electricity. And via this, if even if the charges of electricity is around 3 rupees per unit, so they are approximately saving 1000 to 1500 per month, and in overall year they are saving around 15 to 18,000 in the whole year. And promotion of electric vehicles ecosystem. So these things are planned: viability gap funding, solarization, rooftop solarization, and under the same bracket e-vehicles are also coming. And then bio foundry or bio manufacturing, or bio foundry, where new schemes, there has not been a clear understanding of what would come under, but we'll try to promote bio manufacturing, bio oriented manufacturing. And blue economy 2.0. Blue economy means we are not going to we're going to promote aquaculture and everything, but we are not going to disturb the natural habitat of the same, of the sea or the marine. So a lot of time, a lot of fishes are captured, or very dredging happens, which is like a deep water, the ecosystem gets destroyed and everything. So we are going to focus upon sustainable fishing and everything. So that is coming under blue economy. The programs which and other schemes which are coming under the same bracket of sustainable development are increasing non-fossil fuel installation. So to increase the electrical capacity, more than 10 crore LPG connection under Ujjwala has been provided. 37 crore LED bulb, 72 lakh tube lights, or 23.6 lakh energy efficient tube lights has been Ujjwala LPG collection. Ujjwala is electricity, LED bulbs, tube lights, and everything comes under Ujjwala. Okay. Then LEDs, 1.3 crore LED street lamps has been installed to street lighting under the street lighting national program. And there has been increased budget allocation in the solar summer grid and green hydrogen mission. The things which were already part of 2023 budget was green hydrogen mission, approximately 20,000 or 19,700 700 crore rupees was allotted. Then energy storage projects and renewable energy excavations were promoted. And green credit program was there. Then PM Pranam and Govardhan BPK bio input resource resource centers, Mishti, Amrit, Dharohar, vehicle replacement, coastal shipping, and everything. These were already, you must be aware about these in when they were discussed in 2023 budget. So all of these things are still continued. Then fifth pillar. So we have talked about four pillars till now, and the fifth pillar is our technology and innovation. It is the most important area, Anusundhan, innovation. Technology as an enabler. If we enhance technology, it will enable the process of development in all the other sectors. sector. So Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, and Jai Anusandhan. So everything is coming under the Jai. If you are innovating all the sectors, then there is promotion and development and long-term development in all the areas. So innovation, research and development would catalyze growth, it will enhance growth and employment and development. Everything would be enhanced. So what are the new initiatives? So 1 lakh crore rupees, a corpus of innovation for innovation. We have devoted 1 lakh crore rupees and new schemes of deep technology for defense purposes. There has not been a clear definition how it is going to be there, but we are going to use deep technology in the defense purposes. And then the budget, it was already the excellence of Center for Excellence of AI interim budget. Then 5G service application, lab grown times, it was already there in the last year's budget, and national data governance policy to foster innovation. So national data policy to foster innovation, lab grown diamonds. So we'll decrease the cost of diamonds if we're growing them in lab, and we're going to open up centers and everything. And 5G services are there anyway. So that all of these is coming under the innovation bracket. And then the sixth pillar is ease of doing business and governance reforms. So ease of doing business. So again, lastly, we'll discuss about all the topics. Anusandhan and ease of doing the how you're uh, under this, we have talked about GDP. You are already aware it is gross domestic product, but this interim budget has given a new definition or new term for GDP, that is governance, development, and performance. Governance and development and performance. It's not just growth; it is citizens first, minimum government, and maximum governance. That is, for anything, the government is trying that it interferes the minimum and it just governs or just manages and do not totally interfere. It is trying to reduce its interference on government, and it is trying to increase its governance, how it is managing the other schemes, and it is trying to focus on the citizens of the country. So what are the highlights? Fiscal federalism, obviously. Under this, the fiscal federalism, the free loans or interest-free loans are linked to milestone, and under this, they are provided to states and UTs for increasing the quantitatively and qualitatively. So to transfer them, the fiscal federalism, federalism is distribution of power. So fiscally, you're distributing power. That is, you are providing interest-free loans to the state and the UTs so that they can enhance or quantify or qualitatize and quantitize. They can enhance their state or their area. Tax reforms are there, faceless assessments, process time reduced, GST and customs duty. According to FRBM Act, 41% of the tax is supposed to be shared with the state. That is a fixed percentage that is supposed to be given to the state. So all of these tax reforms. So if there are tax reforms, then the state government would have more money to invest in the economy in the country. Then initiatives of the budget 2023, so which were already there. So there was initiative for the governance, Mission Karm Yogi, Jan Vikas Bill, State Support Mission, Result Based Financing, and ED, EUDB, simplification of KYC, Common Business Identification, Unified Field Processing, Entity Vivad se Vishwas, Central Data Processing Center, and everything. Entering digital, all of these things are helping to have a. So if you are going to simplify the KYC process, everyone is going to do this KYC process, right? And entity of DigiLocker system would help people to have all their documents at a single place. Aadhaar would link everyone, so you'll have just one ID for all your purposes. So all of these things are helping you in doing ease of doing business. For ease of doing business, all of these things are helping people to minimize the government and maximize the governance. So this is for ease of doing business and this is for governance. This was already part of the budget of 2023. And the last pillar is financial sector. Financial sector, the government aims to increase the size, capacity, skill, and regulatory framework. So all over the government, what the government is trying to do is improve the size of financial sector, the how many people are aware of the and the capacity, what all things are included in the financial sector, and the skills or the things which are provided, and regulation framework it is trying to increase, right? So by PM Jandan and everything, it is trying to include more people into the financial sector and enhance and better the financial area. So equity markets has been so set up so for demat accounts and IPO, growth in demat accounts. So there has been a lot of equity. These days there has been a lot of trading which is happening, and because of financial sector enhancement. So uh, Okay. So, equity market has enhanced. There has been an increase in the trading and the demat accounts and everything which are opened, and there has been increase in the companies which are giving their initial public offering, which they are giving, that is IPOs. They are giving. There has been increase in the same. There has been increase in the bonds as well. Stability. The bonds has been stable. The government bonds, and the stability of the government bonds makes it possible for the other private sectors to have a setting. So there has been an issue rise in the issuance of corporate bonds as well because of the stability of the government's bonds and financial integrity, because government bonds acts as a base for if there is no fluctuation in them, then it means that there is not going to be a lot of fluctuation in the liquidity of the economy, and so that the corporate bonds can issue more bonds. So financial interdependence has been declining. Financial interdependence. What is NPA? Non-performing assets. Non-performing assets are those assets, like loan becomes a non-performing asset when a bank is giving loan, that is an asset for that bank, right? Because it is going to get back. But after a point of time, a lot of people default on the loan, and they keep defaulting, and after a point, they lose that they'll ever going to get back their amount. So that becomes a non-performing asset. So there has been a decline in the non-performing asset from the past year, and there has been a huge decline in the same. And improving balance sheets, the sheets which are there of the banking sector, and there is a fast insurance market is growing at a very fast scale in past few years. The steps which are already part of the budget were National Financial Information Registry, financial sector regulation, that gift city, fintech services, and capacity building in the security market. Now, summing up or to understand this, right now, till now, we have talked about different pillars of the economy. So there has been like seven pillars which we have talked about. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. One was Andata or farmer, we can say farmer related. Second was inclusion related, that is women, poor, and youth. And then third was infra investment. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Seventh is financial sector. Fifth, we have talked about governance, ease and doing. Okay, sorry. Okay, sustainability. Sustainable, it has to be sustainable. Then last we talked about fifth, ease of doing and innovation. Innovation and ease of doing business. Ease of doing business. So all of these things, all are the pillars which we have talked about, and what all the schemes which are coming under these brackets. The country has been following the past schemes and has enhanced or added few more new schemes, and it has added a new terminology, that there are four castes which are added, that is women, poor, youth, and farmer, and and then there is GDP ka theme has changed. It is governance and development and performance. Governance, development, and performance, which was under the GDP and GDP, governance, development, and performance. And then there was foreign direct investment was first direct, what is it? First develop India. Sorry, not first direct. First develop India. So that was coming under all of these brackets. So first develop India, so these are the new terminologies which are used, or the things which are used. It might not be possible that direct question comes from them, but it's just the new things which are there. And then there has been a new upgradation of the past schemes, and the new schemes has been added majorly. Okay, so moving forward, we'll try to understand the trend of how, in what all areas there has been an increase in the investment and everything, and what is the percentage. So we'll move towards the data. Uh, Here, where what are the main sources where the country gets its money? So firstly, oh, just a second. Okay. First, the major source of country earning its income is via borrowings, and then another liabilities. Then there is income tax, first, second, third, and fourth. Sorry, third and fourth. Okay, so it is a so all of these brackets are there, first, second, third, and fourth, and then you can see accordingly. So सबसे ज़्यादा we get our money via borrowing. Secondly is income tax. Third is GST, and fourth is corporate tax. It is good that we are getting our income from income tax. Why? Because income tax is reg- um, is not putting a burden on poor, but indirect taxes, direct tax do not put burdens on poor, but indirect taxes put burdens on poor, because indirect taxes are equal for every person. So rich is also supposed to pay the same amount, and the poor is also supposed to pay the same amount. So that is the reason if a country is having more income via income tax, it is good for the particular country. And corporate tax is a tax on the profit of the entrepreneurs or the company's profit, right? So tax on the profit. So this is tax on the profit, this is tax on the income of the people, and this is a tax on the commodities or the products. And then comes the union excise duty. Excise duty is tax on the things which are not covered under these brackets. There are four things which are not covered under GST. So the tax on the like petrol and everything comes under this. So on this, earlier it used to be high and now it has decreased. So tax on the excise duty has this from the government source of income has decreased from petrol and everything, because earlier it used to give subsidies and everything. And then comes the non-tax revenue and non-debt capital receipts and customs. All of these things are there. So you understood the difference between this is in direct tax, this is indirect tax. Indirect tax and the brackets which are not included in GST comes under the excise duty. And custom is on the export and import. Export, even if you're exporting some product or importing somewhere, the customs would be applied. So these are the source of income. Non-tax revenue. So revenue receipts have tax and non-tax, right? So non-tax is all the fees or fines which are coming under this. And non-debt capital receipts are, there are two type of capital receipts. One is debt creating and one is non-debt creating. Non-debt creating is disinvestment. I already explained all of these in the last video. Disinvestment and repayment of loan are non-debt creating. Corporation tax is tax on profit. प्रॉफिट पे जो टैक्स लग रहा है कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स है और बोरिंग्स तो अपन कर ही रहे हैं सो सबसे ज्यादा गवर्नमेंट गेट्स इट्स मनी बाय बोरिंग देन इनकम टैक्स देन जीएसटी देन कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स एंड देन this non-tax revenue, then excise duty, then customs, and lastly from non-debt creating capital receipts. And what are the areas where it spends its maximum amount is, firstly, it spends maximum in the interest payments. So we talked about primary deficit. Primary deficit was fiscal deficit minus interest payments, right? So what it was trying to show, that a lot of time government says that we have a huge deficit because of our interest payment. Interest payment is that some other past government took loan and we are still supposed to pay the interest of those particular loans. So इसीलिए our deficit is high. But to know what is the real deficit, we try and taking out primary deficit. That is the reason. We'll see a chart or the data for the same as well in the next slide. So interest payment is the highest. So firstly, the most expenditure is on interest payment. It is approximately 20%. Then again, 20% is on the state. The state central government gives its share to the state as well, right? So 20% is again for the state government. The share which it gives. Then there is on the central sector schemes. So there are two types of schemes which are there. One is central sector, and the other one is centrally sponsored. So centrally sponsored, again there are core areas and there are uncore areas, and central sectors are 100% union government is spending on it, and centrally sponsored as there are core and non-core. So I was talking about central and centrally sponsored, sector schemes and centrally sponsored schemes. So in central sector, the 100% of funding is by union, and centrally sponsored, there are two parts of the centrally sponsored. First is core of core. What is like core of core? So there are six of them. So firstly, Nariga is there, and then there is pension scheme is there. Then there is scheduled caste development. Then there is scheduled tribes development. Then vulnerable section, and then minorities. So different parts of amount is allotted to different sections, and then there is core schemes in under which PM जल आरोग्य योजना, जन जीवन मिशन, आवास योजना, सड़क योजना, स्वच्छ भारत, everything comes under, all the other schemes comes under that. So these are the types of schemes. So when we are talking about central schemes, so you understood the difference, centrally sponsored and central sector. So here we are just talking about the expenditure when we are just talking about center and not centrally sponsored. Okay, so 20% to this, 20% to this, and then comes first, second, third is third is the central sector schemes. Then the amount comes to finance commission and other transfers, which and then there is centrally sponsored schemes and other expenditure, defense and subsidies. So a lot of amount goes to these areas. So after this, it goes to other expenditures. Then it goes to centrally sponsored. It is almost similar to finance commission, centrally sponsored, and sorry, and it is similar to defense as well. And lastly, it is to subsidies. So this is where government majorly spends its money, and these are the areas where it gets its major of the money. And the trends of the deficit. So different deficits, we already understood there are four types of deficits: fiscal, revenue, effective revenue, and primary deficit. So fiscal is equal to all our borrowing. Primary is fiscal, that is borrowing minus interest payments. वो borrowings आपने पैसा उधार लिया आपके पुराने उधार का इंटरेस्ट चुकाने के लिए. So that is going to be equal to primary deficit. And आपने पैसा उधार लिया तो that is equal to fiscal deficit. मतलब आपकी जो उधारी है वो fiscal deficit के बराबर है. रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट जो आपके डे टू डे खर्चे के लिए भी आपको उधारी लेनी पड़ रही है. जैसे डे टू डे आपको कुछ पैसा मिल रहा है, आप खर्चा कर रहे हो, तो आपका खर्चा डे टू डे बेसिस के हिसाब से भी ज्यादा हो रहा है, तो मतलब आपके रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स में से आपकी रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स कम है रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर से, दैट वुड लीड टू रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट. बट अपन ने देखा था कि रेवेन्यू में रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स और रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर है, राइट. तो रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स के दो पार्ट है, टैक्स एंड नॉन टैक्स. तो नॉन टैक्स में देर इज ग्रांट्स. सो ग्रांट्स आर प्रोवाइडेड, राइट. सो ग्रांट्स क्या होती है, अगर इफ यू आर प्रोवाइडिंग ग्रांट्स फॉर कैपिटल एसेट क्रिएशन, या कैपिटल एसेट खरीद रहे हो उससे, या स्टेट को दे रहे हो फॉर कैपिटल एसेट, तो उसको अगर मैनेज कर, क्योंकि उसमें तो पॉजिटिव काम हो रहा है ना, इकोनॉमी का बेटरमेंट होगा फ्यूचर वाइज, तो वो हो रहा है, तो फिर उसको माइनस कर देंगे अगर अपन ने जो ग्रांट्स दी है. तो ये क्या होता है, इफेक्टिव रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट में से जो ग्रांट्स दी है फॉर कैपिटल क्रिएशन वो माइनस कर देंगे, और कैपिटल एसेट के लिए जो दी गई है वो माइनस कर देंगे, तो अपना रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट आ जाएगा. और रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट खुद क्या है, रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर माइनस रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स. तो ये अपने फॉर्मूला एक ब्रीफिंग देख लिया. अब अपने ये ट्रेंड देखिए, ऑब्वियसली बहुत टाइम से कम 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 हो रहा है, कोविड की वजह से बढ़ गया था, तो इस ईयर और इधर थोड़ा बढ़ा है, बाकी तो अभी तक कम ही था. तो 2018-19 में बढ़ा था, फिर कोविड की वजह से और बढ़ गया, और फिर उसके बाद कम 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 हो रहा है. लास्टली अपना इतना है, और अपना फिस्कल डेफिसिट इतना है. प्राइमरी डेफिसिट सबसे कम है, जो कम होना चाहिए, क्योंकि प्राइमरी डेफिसिट मींस वी आर गिविंग मोस्ट ऑफ आवर इनकम फॉर जस्ट पेमेंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट्स. एंड देन वी हैव आवर, सॉरी, प्राइमरी इफेक्टिव रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट है ये, प्राइमरी डेफिसिट ही है, ये कम होना चाहिए, तो ठीक है, बट वी कैन डिक्रीज इट मोर. एंड दिस इज our effective revenue deficit, which is the lowest, and then this is revenue deficit and this is fiscal deficit. सोर्सेस ऑफ डेफिसिट फाइनेंसिंग. अब डेफिसिट हो जाता है भाई, अपन ने खर्चा ज्यादा कर लिया, अपने पास पैसा नहीं था पर अपन ने खर्च कर लिया ज्यादा, तो हमने ऐसा किया है, तो ऐसा इसका मतलब डेफिसिट वो हमारे पास कैसे आएगा, वो अमाउंट जो हमने ज्यादा खर्च किया, जैसे हमारा अर्निंग था 100 रुपीज और हमने खर्च किया है 120 रुपीज, तो ये जो 20 रुपीज है, ये तो कहीं ना कहीं से तो अपन के पास आने चाहिए ना. तो व्हाट आर द सोर्स बाय विच गवर्नमेंट फाइनेंसेस इट्स डेफिसिट. तो डेफिसिट हो गया है, उसको फाइनेंस कैसे कर रही है गवर्नमेंट. सो इट इज फाइनेंसिंग थ्रू अदर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट सोर्सेज. व्हाट आर द मैक्सिमम सोर्सेज व्हिच आर यूज्ड. सो फर्स्टली इट इज सिक्योरिटीज अगेंस्ट स्मॉल सेविंग्स. सो सिक्योरिटीज फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स में ये आती है सिक्योरिटीज, तो वाया सिक्योरिटीज इट रेजेस मनी. बाकी उसके बाद है शॉर्ट टर्म्स बोरिंग, शॉर्ट टर्म टी बिल्स वगैरह, ट्रेजरी बिल्स वगैरह के थ्रू, बाकी अदर्स के थ्रू, ठीक है. एंड मार्केट बोरिंग्स, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी वगैरह, मार्केट बोरिंग्स के थ्रू. तो मार्केट के थ्रू सबसे ज्यादा मार्केट के थ्रू ही बोरो करती है, वो डिप आया था. उसके बाद स्टेबिलिटी है, मार्केट बोरिंग में स्टेबिलिटी है, मार्केट बोरिंग में स्टेबिलिटी है, इसकी वजह से दूसरी जी, अगर गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी में स्टेबिलिटी है तो दूसरे बॉन्ड्स वगैरह वो और अपने बॉन्ड्स ला सकते हैं, क्योंकि इसका मतलब लिक्विडिटी में स्टेबिलिटी है. उसके बाद अपन सबसे ज्यादा सिक्योरिटी फ्रॉम स्मॉल सेविंग्स से रेज कर रही है गवर्नमेंट, और अभी शॉर्ट टर्म बोरिंग्स तो कम हो गई है, अभी थोड़ा इंक्रीज होने के चांस है, और अदर सोर्स को तो पूरा प्लान है गवर्नमेंट का कि कम करना है, इधर से भी बहुत ज्यादा कम करने का प्लान है गवर्नमेंट का. तो इस ईयर में जैसे कि इसकी अदर सोर्सेज को कम करना है, एंड बाकी स्टेबिलिटी रहनी है. विद टैक्स रिसिप्ट्स में क्या क्या ट्रेंड्स हैं, तो अपना जो टैक्स रिसिप्ट्स है ये इतना है, 11.7% ऑफ जीडीपी। सो पहले ये 11.6 था, ये इतना है। तो जितना टैक्स रिसिप्ट इसमें ये है अपना डायरेक्ट टैक्स और ये इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स। जितना, जैसा कि मैंने बताया कि डायरेक्ट टैक्स ज्यादा होगा तो कंपनी अच्छा, सॉरी कंट्री अच्छा शो कर रही है। सो ये किस टाइम पे ज्यादा कम हुआ करता था, देखो इस ईयर में 17-18 में डायरेक्ट टैक्स कम, डायरेक्ट टैक्स और थोड़ा सा ही कम था। इधर इधर डायरेक्ट टैक्स कम है इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स से, इधर बहुत ज्यादा खराब सिचुएशन है, इधर डायरेक्ट टैक्स कम है इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स से। तो ये वाली सब सिचुएशंस थी। उसके बाद ट्रेंड हैज बीन नाइस। तो दिस इज बजटरी एस्टिमेट ऑफ द कंट्री, ग्रॉस टैक्स रिसिप्ट्स। देन फिस्कल फेडरलिज्म, फिस्कल फेडरलिज्म मतलब गवर्नमेंट अपना कितना अमाउंट स्टेट्स और यूटीज को ट्रांसफर कर रही है। सो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 22.7 लाख करोड़ रुपीस ये स्टेट और यूटी को दे रही है, जितना अर्न कर रही है उसमें से। और इसमें से ट्रांसफर्स जो दे रही है इसमें से क्या, किन किन एरियाज के लिए दे रही है। एक तो फाइनेंशियल कमीशन के अकॉर्डिंग जो इसको 41% अपना टैक्स का 41% जो ग्रांट करना होता है वो तो दे ही रही है, जैसे जीएसटी वगैरह का इसको 41% देना होता है स्टेट्स को, तो वो तो दे ही रही है। विच इज for this year it is expected to be less 1.323 lakh करोड़। एंड स्कीम्स और अदर दूसरे स्कीम्स वगैरह, सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम्स और दूसरी रिलेटेड चीजों की वजह से भी गवर्नमेंट गिव्स मनी, राइट। सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी मोर इन दिस ईयर। एंड देन डिवोल्यूशन, डिवोल्यूशन वाइज भी पैसा काफी ज्यादा जाता है तो वो भी ज्यादा रहेगा। सो अगर मेजर लेवल पे स्टेप्स देखे जाए कि कौन से एरियाज में क्या क्या स्टेप्स लिए गए हैं, तो एग्रीकल्चर वाले में किसान सम्मान योजना है, फसल बीमा योजना है, ई नाम है, फिर संपदा योजना है, नमो डाई अमोनियम फॉस्फेट है, फिर ऑयल सीड्स वाला मिशन है, डेयरी और मत्स्य संप्रदा। फिर वुमेन में एनरोलमेंट हायर स्कूल में स्टेम प्रोग्राम है, आशा और इन सब आशा और आंगनबाड़ी वर्कर्स को ये जन आरोग्य मिशन में इंक्लूजन। फिर 70% ऑफ हाउस होल्ड जो वुमेन ओन कर रही है। फिर लखपति दीदी वाला जो चीज है रूरल लाइवलीहुड मिशन के अंडर जो आ रहा है। फिर एमएसएमई के अंदर मुद्रा स्कीम जो लोन्स वगैरह स्किल्स वगैरह के लिए विश्वकर्मा है, फिर स्किल इंडिया है, फिर माइक्रो फूड प्रोसेसिंग एंटरप्राइज, फिर क्रेडिट गारंटी, इमरजेंसी क्रेडिट गारंटी लिंक सपोर्ट। फिर रूरल डेवलपमेंट के लिए ये एस्पिरेशन डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोग्राम जो है, ब्लॉक प्रोग्राम जिसके अंदर बहुत सारे ब्लॉक्स को 7 एरियाज पे फोकस किया जाएगा उनके डेवलपमेंट के लिए। पीएम ग्रामीण है, डीबीटी ट्रांसफर्स है, फिर जनमन है, जनमन है, और फिर नरेगा। इसमें पर्टिकुलरली वनरेबल ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स की बात होती है, फिर नरेगा वगैरह कहता है। ठीक है। उसके अलावा so we'll try to understand the overview of the budget. So revenue budget and capital budget. Revenue budget, from where all we are getting all the revenue receipts and where we are spending all our revenue expenditure. So I have already given you the items which comes under these brackets, but we're just going to go by the numbers or the figures or the data. ठीक है। So a country, India is earning approximately, we are estimating this much कि India would get 30 lakh करोड़ as revenue receipts। कहाँ से आएगा revenue receipts में? क्या होता है, टैक्स रेवेन्यू होता है, नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू होता है। टैक्स में डायरेक्ट टैक्स आता है, इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स आता है। तो टैक्स से जितना आने वाला है वो है 26 लाख करोड़, और नॉन टैक्स से 4 लाख करोड़। ठीक है। डायरेक्ट टैक्स में कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स आ गया, मैट आ गया, जो मतलब जो कंपनीज प्रॉफिट अर्न करनी है उन पे तो कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स लग जाएगा। मिनिमम अल्टरनेटिव टैक्स लगता है उन कंपनीज पे जो बोलते हैं कि हमारा तो कोई प्रॉफिट ही नहीं हुआ, हम लोग के लिए जीरो पे चल रहे हैं, तो उनको भी एक पर्टिकुलर मिनिमम टैक्स देना पड़ता है। तो वो टैक्स में आ जाता है, इनकम टैक्स आ जाता है, और कैपिटल गेन टैक्स आता है। लाइक सपोज अ, आपने कुछ बाय किया और उस पे आपको कुछ गेन हुआ, जैसे आपने कोई लॉटरी खरीदा है ना, तो लॉटरी पे आपने कुछ अर्न किया, लॉटरी आपने 100 रुपीज का खरीदा था, जितने भी रुपीज का खरीदा था उस पे जो अर्निंग्स हुई तो आपका कैपिटल गेन हो गया, तो उस पे कैपिटल गेन टैक्स लगेगा। ठीक है। तो वो टैक्स इसके अंदर आता है। वी नॉट गोइंग टू गो अ लॉट इनटू द डिटेल्स व्हाट इज व्हाट, वी जस्ट गोइंग टू गेट अ ब्रीफ आइडिया। देन इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस में आता है जीएसटी, कस्टम्स। जीएसटी वही गुड्स पे लगता है, कस्टम ड्यूटीज एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट पे लगता है, एक्साइज जो गुड्स जीएसटी में इंक्लूडेड नहीं है जैसे पेट्रोलियम वगैरह, वो उन पे एक्साइज ड्यूटी लगती है। एंड देन दिस एनसीसीबी, ये एक्स्ट्रा लगता है, जैसे टबैको वगैरह होता है तो उन पे नेचुरल कैलामिटी को मतलब डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में यूज होता है ये टैक्स। ठीक है। तो इसका ये जो दोनों टैक्स है इनके 41% शेयर है जो वो स्टेट को जाता है अकॉर्डिंग टू द एफआरबीएम वीएम एक्ट 2023। ठीक है। अब क्या है कि जैसे ये जो टैक्स है इनके अलावा सेस और सरचार्ज ये अलग चीज होती है। ये मतलब सरचार्ज इज टैक्स ऑन टैक्स, जैसे किसी की इनकम है। इस बजट में आपने देखा रिब्यूट नहीं पड़ा है ना, टैक्स रिब्यूट, टैक्स रिब्यूट टैक्स रिब्यूट उन लोगों को प्रोवाइड होता है जैसे कि आपकी इनकम है 7 लाख रुपीज, ठीक है, 7 लाख रुपीज है, तो अकॉर्डिंग टू द टैक्स ब्रैकेट्स, मतलब आई विल नॉट टेल यू बाय राइटिंग बिकॉज देयर लाइक लॉट ऑफ स्पेस हियर, बट आई विल जस्ट एक्सप्लेन। 7 लाख आपकी इनकम है, ठीक है, तो 7 लाख इनकम है तो देर आर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ब्रैकेट, सो 0 to 3 लाख कोई टैक्स नहीं लगेगा, 3 to 6 लाख सपोज 5% टैक्स लग रहा है, एंड 6 to 9 लाख 10% लग रहा है, तो आपकी इनकम पे कितना टैक्स लगेगा अगर आपकी 7 लाख इनकम है तो अकॉर्डिंग टू द न्यू टैक्स रिजीम आपकी टैक्स पे 0 to 3 पे 0 लगेगा, तो कुछ नहीं लगेगा। फिर उसके बाद जैसे मान लो कि 0 to 3 पे कुछ नहीं लग रहा, तो उसके बाद आपके पास 7 है तो 3 में कुछ नहीं लग रहा, तो आपके पास 4 बचे, तो 4 बचे, तो अब आप दूसरे ब्रैकेट में देखोगे तो 3 to 6 में आप पे कितना लग रहा है, 5% लग रहा है, तो 3 lakhs पे आपका 5% टैक्स लग रहा है, तो जितना भी वो टैक्स होता है, तो 3 लाख का 5% वुड बी अप्रोक्सीमेटली, विल जस्ट कैलकुलेट लेटर ऑन, एंड देन 1 लाख पे, फिर 1 लाख बचा आपका, 1 लाख पे 10% लग रहा है, तो 7,000 वो हो गया, और उसके पहले का मान लो 20,000 या अप्रोक्स कुछ ले लेते हैं ना, 18,000 इस पे लग रहा है, तो 18 प्लस 20, सॉरी 18 प्लस 7,000 कितना हो गया, 18 प्लस 10,000, सो 18 प्लस 10 तो 28,000 अप्रोक्सीमेटली, तो अपन ले लेते हैं 30,000 आपका टैक्स लगे, 28,000 आपका टैक्स लग गया, ठीक है ना, 28,000 आपको टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा, तो 28 पे ना करना पड़े, या 15 प्लस 10 पे करना पड़ेगा, जैसे पिछले वाले पे 15 लगा था, मैं एक्सप्लेन ही कर देती हूँ उधर। आपके 0 to 3 में कोई टैक्स नहीं लगा, फिर 3 to 6 में आपका 5% लगा, जो 15K तक का टैक्स लगा, फिर उस पे, फिर बाकी का 1 लाख पे फिर ये था अपना 3 लाख पे लगा, और बाकी का स्टार्टिंग का 3 लाख पे कुछ नहीं लगा, तो इस पे तो 10K लगा, तो ये 10 प्लस 20, टोटल इस पे कितना लग रहा है, 25K टैक्स लग रहा है, ठीक है। 25K टैक्स लग रहा है टोटल, ठीक है, तो 25K टैक्स लग रहा है, तो अगर गवर्नमेंट आपको बोलती है कि ठीक है हम टैक्स नहीं लेंगे, हम पूरा का पूरा माफ कर देता है आपका ये 25 तो आपको जीरो टैक्स पे करना पड़ा है, तो ये जो माफी मिली आपको, इसको अपन टैक्स रिब्यूट बोलते हैं, ठीक है, तो इस बजट में ये इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, बस ये कहना चाह रही हूँ मैं। पर ऐसा कभी कभी होता है, जैसे सब लोगों की इनकम 7 लाख तो होती नहीं है, बहुत लोगों की इनकम बहुत ज्यादा भी होती है, तो उन पे टैक्स ऑन टैक्स लगता है कि भाई आप जितना टैक्स पे कर रहे हो उसका भी कुछ परसेंटेज एज अ टैक्स लगेगा, जैसे सपोज ये 7 की जगह, जैसे एक इंसान है जिसकी करोड़ में इनकम है, ठीक है, एंड ही इज पेइंग अप्रोक्सीमेटली, मान लेते हैं अपन 1 लाख का टैक्स पे कर रहा है वो, ठीक है, तो उस पे 5% या जितना भी परसेंट सरचार्ज है, 15% सरचार्ज लगेगा, तो 1 लाख का 15% हो गया 15,000, तो 15,000 वो जो है वो सरचार्ज लगेगा, और ये सरचार्ज सिर्फ स्टेट के पास रहे, मतलब सेंटर के पास रहेगा, उसको वो स्टेट के साथ शेयर नहीं करना था, वैसे ही सेस लगता है, ठीक है, सेस भी वैसे होता है, विल नॉट गोना गो इन द डिटेल्स, तो ये जो इतना हुआ है ना टैक्स कलेक्शन, जो 26 लाख, ये जो टैक्स कलेक्शन हुआ है 26 लाख का, इसके अंदर 41% स्टेट को जाएगा, बट इसमें 12 लाख, जो 12 लाख करोड़ जो है वो सेस और सरचार्ज से आया, तो ये जो 12 लाख है ये नहीं जाएगा, ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं होगा टू द स्टेट, इफ यू अंडरस्टूड फाइन, नहीं तो ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं इतना, विल अंडरस्टैंड इन डिफरेंट वीडियो। देन नॉन टैक्स से अपने को 4 लाख मिले, जो रेल्स और पोस्ट ऑफिस सेविंग्स वगैरह से डिविडेंड्स, जो भी कंपनीज है उसके थ्रू डिविडेंड्स मिलता है, अगर इसने लोन डिविडेंड से अपने पीएसयूज वगैरह, जो गवर्नमेंट की कंपनीज है ओएनजीसी वगैरह, तो वो प्रॉफिट अर्न करती है, तो उसको डिविडेंड प्रॉफिट का एक पार्ट जो दे रही है उसको डिविडेंड बोलते हैं। फिर इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है अगर किसी ने इसने पहले लोन वगैरह दे रखा है तो उस पे, और बाकी ग्रांट्स वगैरह वो सारी इसमें आ गई। फिर रेवेन्यू में इतना इतना तो ये था कंट्री का रेवेन्यू, रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट, मतलब जो जितना कंट्री को मिल रहा था, मतलब पैसा जितना कंट्री कमा रही थी, गवर्नमेंट जितना कमा रही थी ऐसा मान लो, ठीक है, तो 30 लाख करोड़ रुपीज कमा रही थी, पर एक्सपेंडिचर उसी, वो जो रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर कर रही है वो 36 लाख करोड़ कर रही है। अभी एक्सपेंडिचर कर किस पे रही है, इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट, पुराने लोन्स को पे करने के लिए 11 लाख करोड़ खर्च कर रही है, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा अमाउंट है। फिर बाकी सैलरीज वगैरह देती है, ग्रांट्स देती है, सब्सिडीज देती है, सब्सिडीज पे कितना है, 3.8 लाख करोड़ रुपीज, तो मतलब बहुत ज्यादा, तो इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट पे अपन ये चार्ट्स में भी देख रखा है। फिर सब्सिडीज मेजर, अगर कोई मेजर सब्सिडीज जिसको मिल रही है वो है तीन चीजें, पहला है फूड, तीसरा, दूसरा है फर्टिलाइजर, और तीसरा एलपीजी। फूड पे 2 लाख करोड़ सब्सिडी जा रही है, वही जो नेशनल हेल्थ, सॉरी फूड सिक्योरिटी मिशन के अंडर जो है, और फर्टिलाइजर्स को मिल रही है 1.6 लाख करोड़ की सब्सिडी, एंड एलपीजी को भी मिल रही है 11.9 के करोड़ की, 9,000 करोड़ की, ठीक है। और ग्रांट्स, अब ग्रांट्स तो सब जगह मिलती है, पर अपन ने देखा था कि ग्रांट्स जो कैपिटल गेन्स के लिए मिल रही है वो एक तरीके से पॉजिटिव होता है, तो उसको अगर अलग से देखना है तो अपन देख रहे हैं कि 3.85 लाख करोड़ की ग्रांट मिल रही है, वो फॉर पॉजिटिव पर्पस के लिए होती है, ठीक है। दैट वुड बी हेल्पफुल इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग द डेफिसिट्स। तो अपना कैपिटल रिसिप्ट कहाँ से आ रहा है, तो कैपिटल रिसिप्ट अपना टोटल है 17 लाख करोड़, 17 लाख करोड़ अपने कैपिटल से, कैपिटल से जो, तो कैपिटल के भी दो पार्ट होते हैं, एक डेट क्रिएटिंग होता है, एक नॉन डेट क्रिएटिंग। डेट क्रिएटिंग इज बेसिकली बोरोइंग्स, आप जो बोरो करके, क्योंकि आपका तो कर्जा होगा ना, इस तरह से आपको फ्यूचर में पे करना है, तो उसमें एक इंटरनल, आप इंटरनल सोर्सेज से बोरो कर रहे हो, एक्सटर्नल से कर रहे हो, तो टोटल आप डेट जो बोरोइंग है वो 16.8 लाख करोड़ है, ठीक है, लाख करोड़ इतनी बोरोइंग्स है अपनी। और इसमें से इंटरनल सोर्सेज से ज्यादा है, आउटसाइड सोर्सेज से कम है, वो सिर्फ 16,000 करोड़ है, और इंटरनल सोर्सेज से 16 लाख करोड़ है। और नॉन डेट क्रिएटिंग भाई डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट हो गया, मतलब आप गवर्नमेंट की कोई फर्म है, उसके शेयर्स बेच रही है, तो वो 50,000 करोड़ उससे मिल रहा है, एंड रिकवरी ऑफ लोन्स या वो उससे 29,000 उससे मिल रहा है, तो ये टोटल मिला के इतना 17 लाख करोड़ हो गया। फिर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर एसेट क्रिएशन के लिए जो एक्सपेंडिचर कर रहा है वो 11 लाख, अपन देखा ना कैपिटल कैपेक्स कितना था अपना, वो 11 लाख करोड़ था, तो वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे लोन्स जो स्टेट या फॉरेन को दे रही है, इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रही है कहीं पे, या रीपे कर रही है अपने लोन्स, वो सारे कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर में आ गए। तो अब अपने को अगर रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट निकालना है, तो रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट कैसे निकालेंगे अपन, हाँ, एक सेकेंड, हाँ, रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट निकालना है, तो रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट क्या होता है, रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स माइनस रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर माइनस रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स, रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स, क्योंकि अपना एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा होगी ना, तो रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर कितना है अपना 30, और रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर 36 और रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स 30 है, तो अपना रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर 36 है माइनस 30, क्या, 6 लाख करोड़ अपना, ये आ गई 6 लाख करोड़ अपना, ये है 6 लाख करोड़, ये रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट आया। फिर उसके बाद फिस्कल डेफिसिट, सॉरी इफेक्टिव रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट अगर निकालना है अपने को, इफेक्टिव रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट कैसे निकलता है, रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट में से ग्रांट्स जो कैपिटल गेन्स के लिए दी है अपन ने वो माइनस कर दो, तो 6 लाख करोड़ में से अगर अपन माइनस करते, ग्रांट्स कितनी थी अपन ने देखा था इधर, ग्रांट्स थी 3.8 लाख करोड़, तो 3.8 लाख करोड़ माइनस कर देंगे तो आ जाएगा अप्रोक्सीमेटली ये तो 2.2 लाख करोड़ समथिंग, तो ये अपना इफेक्टिव रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट हो गया। अब फिस्कल डेफिसिट कितना होगा, फिस्कल डेफिसिट अपना बोरिंग्स के इक्वल होता है, तो अपनी बोरिंग्स कितनी है 16.8 लाख करोड़, तो अपना फिस्कल डेफिसिट भी उतना ही है। फिर प्राइमरी डेफिसिट कैसे फाइंड करेंगे, प्राइमरी डेफिसिट के लिए अपन को करना होता है फिस्कल डेफिसिट में से इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट को माइनस, तो फिस्कल डेफिसिट है अपना 16.8, इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट अपनी अपन ने देखा था पीछे 11 लाख करोड़, तो अपने को सिर्फ इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट के लिए अपन बोरो कर रहे हैं, तो 11.9 लाख करोड़ अगर इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट है, तो अपना प्राइमरी डेफिसिट आ जाएगा अप्रोक्सीमेटली 5 point something lakh crore, ठीक है। So this is how you understood the whole budget, we understood it with the latest figures as well, and we understood the schemes and everything which are coming under it, and we understood the basic terminology as well, okay. With this we end the chapter, we end budget. Thank you so much.